this is Nadia from Everything Stitching, and in this video I am going to show you guys how to crochet a set of 6 coasters and the coaster holder. It's really cute. It looks awesome on a coffee table. Stop the rings from your coffee mug, water cup. Cashew's hair is in it. But anyways, it's a super quick, easy tutorial. You're gonna love making these for gifts. You can even do it for teacher gifts for this back to school that we're all having to endure right now. Anyways, the pattern will be available in my Etsy shop. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment and I'll be sure to get back to you. And let's get stitching. Okay, so for this pattern, we are going to make 6 coasters and a coaster holder. I like using a medium 4-weight yarn for this pattern, and then I like using the 5mm crochet hook. I would say this pattern is beginner friendly. I would not say it's like advanced, but just because you're kind of working in the round, I'd say it's beginner friendly, close to intermediate. So go ahead and get your slip knot on your hook and chain 3 to get started on your first coaster. Sorry, I was just thinking how many I already did. Okay, so chain 3, then go ahead and put your hook in your first chain, pull through, and then pull through the last one so you make this tiny little circle. Now you're going to yarn over and double crochet into the center of that tiny circle that you made, your tiny little pancake as it were, and double crochet into that. And you're actually going to double crochet 11 times. So that was 1, 2, 3, and you're gonna find as you go around it gets easier and easier. I would say the first 2 or 3 that you do in this one are pretty tricky just because you're holding that tiny little pancake circle and it's really difficult to get it in and hold all your sections of yarn and everything. But once you get past those first 2, it's super easy. So just keep putting your hook in the exact same hole as you did in the beginning. So that way you actually make a circle. If you start putting in a different hole, it's not gonna make a circle. So just keep working in the exact same hole, double crocheting until you make 11. And all this chatter, I have not been keeping track of where we're at. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I gotta do 2 more. 10 and 11. Okay, so now that that's our last one on this row, you're going to find the stitch of the first row you did and slip stitch into it. So find that V at the top and go ahead and slip stitch to close your circle. Now chain 2, and then you are now going to do 2 double crochets into each stitch. So that way when you get to the end, you should have a total of 24 double crochets. So we started with 11 plus the chain 2 on the first row, and then this second row is going to have 2 double crochets in each stitch. And then when we get to the end, we're going to double check that we have 24. So whenever you're working in the round like this, if you're not going to use stitch markers, I do depending on the project that I'm making. The coasters, And this particular yarn is super easy to count the amount of stitches you have. So it's easy to not use stitch markers. But when I make the crochet little stuffed animals, I like using stitch markers for that because sometimes you're using very thick or very fuzzy or super thin, just different types of yarns that are a lot harder to track where your stitches are. So I like using stitch markers for those. But something simple like this where it's a 4, it's not fuzzy, it's just super easy to tell. It's easy, or not easier, but quicker to not use the stitch markers because then you're not putting them in and taking them out. And then you can just quickly count, okay, where we're at. But like I said, I absolutely use them on certain projects. This is just not one of them. If you hear any meowing in the background, that is Cashew. He's a little perturbed because I had to close the door. He kept coming in and knocking over the camera. So I'm like, okay, let me just make one coaster and then you can come back in. Because I made the other 5 already to go in our stack. Okay, so we should be almost at the end. And like I said, when you're working in the round like this and you're not using the stitch markers, when you get to the end, be sure to count and make sure you're at the number for the row that you're on. So we should have 24, and I think right now we're at 22 because I think we have one last one to go. So let's double check. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Oh gosh, we're at 20, not 22. See, all this gibber gabber. I've totally lost track. We really should be at 24 though, now that we did those 2. Did I count that correctly? Oh, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22, 24. Okay, so we got to do our last 2 double crochets, and then we're going to do the exact same thing that we did before and slip stitch it into that first stitch of the round. So that was round 2. Now for round 3, we're going to, same as we've done before, chain 2, then 2 double crochets in this next stitch. So 1, 2, okay. Then we're gonna double crochet, 1 double crochet in the next one, and then 2 double crochets in this one. So the pattern for this row, for your 3rd row, is going to be double crochet and then 2 double crochet. Double crochet, 2 double crochet. No! See what happens every once in a while? Be prepared. Okay, what do we got here? Single, so now a double or 2 double crochets in this stitch. And then the pattern goes 1 double crochet and 2 double crochets. So this pattern is pretty nice because if you know how to crochet in the round and you know how to chain, double crochet, I mean, that's it, right? As long as we can count, which is sometimes difficult. And then doing the double crochet, it's fun because it's another one of those easy ones to make. And I really like to feature the easy patterns on here only because they can be easy for beginners, right? And then also not too easy for intermediate, right? So it's a good mixture. Okay, so we're doing 2 double crochets into this stitch right here. And like I said, this pattern that I'm showing you is for 1 coaster. So you're going to go ahead and make 6 total, or actually, I mean, you can make as many as you want, right? But the pattern that I make, the coaster holder fits 6. So that's why I say to make 6. But hey, if you just want to make coasters and don't want to do the holder, that's fine too. Or if you want to make the holder bigger and hold more, that's another welcome option. Okay, so we've got 2 double crochets in this one, 1 double crochet in this one, 2. We're almost at the end of this row, which is our 3rd row, and then we're going to work on our 4th row. And the 4th row is actually the last row for the coasters, so we're almost done. And hold on, let me just make sure I did double, single, double. What's kind of nice too with this pattern, when we make the coaster holder, you'll notice that a lot of the beginning of the pattern is very similar to this. So you're going to really just be on a roll and just busting these out. I mean, they're really great for gifts. You can have fun with the colors of yarn. It just makes it super fun. I really enjoy making these ones. Okay, so here's our last double crochet, and then we're going to slip stitch it to the first stitch of the row to close out our 3rd row. All right, now for our 4th row, we're starting out as we have with all the other rows, where we, oops, my hook was facing the wrong way, chain 2, double crochet into your next stitch, and then 2 double crochets into this stitch, and then the pattern for this row is going to be 1 double crochet into a stitch, another 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and then 2 double crochets into that 3rd stitch. So it's going to be 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, right? So 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then 2 in this one. So when we get to the end of the 4th row, you're going to end up with a total of 48 stitches. So let's see, the first row we had 12, right? And then the second one had 24. The 3rd one had 36, and then the 4th one has 48. And this pattern is linked in my Etsy shop account, so you can go there if you want a printable PDF version of this, and then you can follow along with the video as well. So we got to do another double crochet, and then 2 double crochets. So yeah, I've noticed that the medium weight worsted type yarn works really, really good for this pattern. It goes quickly, and like I said before, it's really easy to count your stitches. It's super nice to use, you know, a 5mm hook width, and once you kind of remember how many stitches you're doing in each row, it's something where you kind of just do without thinking about it, other than keeping track of the rows, right? Like you're not having to think, okay, switching to this color, or actually, I mean, you can, actually that'd be really fun to switch colors as you go. So if if you want to get funky with it, feel free to have fun with color. On this one, I am just using one color for all of my coasters, and then I chose a brown color for the coaster holder, just for this set that I'm making right now. But of course it's the same yarn and brand and everything, just different color, just to add a little spice and variety, right? Okay, so I've got 2 double crochets. We're almost at the end of our 4th row, and then we'll be slip stitching it and then weaving in our ends, because this is the end or completion of our coasters. And like I said, I've already made the other 5, so this will be my 6th one, and then the next part of this video will be working on the coaster holder, and then we're gonna have our whole set done. And like I said, it's great for gifts, it's great around your house. I mean, who wants water rings on your coffee table? I know I don't. So it's super easy. And if you make it with like cotton or wool or something like that, it's really nice to like just rinse them out, like if they get coffee on them or something, right? Okay, so we need to do a couple more stitches and we are done with our coasters. Okay, another double crochet, and then I've got to do 2 double crochets into this stitch to bring this together. And then I'm going to slip stitch into our first one, pull that through, cut that off, and then weave in your ends, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and weave in my ends, put my stack of 6 together, and then we will work on the coaster holder with this brown color, little funkiness. I'll meet you back here in a minute. Okay, so now we're working on the coaster holder. So I'm getting my skein of yarn ready. We're gonna go ahead and make a slip knot as usual. And we're actually gonna start this off the same way that we started off our coasters, where we're gonna chain 3. And then we're gonna slip stitch it into the first stitch. So you're gonna put your hook in the first stitch, yarn over, pull it through, and then pull it through that last one, and then it makes your tiny little pancake, right? Your absolutely miniature pancake. Okay, so now you're gonna pretty much do the exact same thing that we did before, right? Chain 2, and then double crochet into the center of your hole again 11 times. So the first few steps are exactly the same as the coaster. So it'll be all the way up into row 4. Okay, so it's literally making the coaster again, okay? All the way up to row 4. And then from row 4, we're gonna talk about what to do next. But until then, insert your hook into the center, do your double crochet for 4 rows. So your first row is gonna have 11, second row is gonna have, so your second row is gonna have 24, your third row will have 36, and then your fourth row will have 48. And then after you finish your 4th row, let's go ahead and meet back here for row number 5, and I'll show you what to do then. Okay, so now we've finished row 4. We slip stitched and connected it. So now we're gonna work on row 5. So here we're gonna only chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet and then single crochet in the next So 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into the 3rd stitch. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get started with our pattern. Okay, that was just to start row 5. So our pattern is going to be single crochet into the first 3 stitches of the pattern, and then 2 single crochets into that 4th stitch of the pattern. So single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, so that was 3. And then for the 4th stitch, you're going to do 2 single crochets into that 4th one. So we're going to go ahead and just keep up with that pattern as you work your way around. So now we're at 3rd one, so then the 4th one you're going to do 2 single crochets into the same stitch. I'm going to keep doing that till you get all the way around, and then we're going to slip stitch to join it, and then we'll work on row 6. Okay, so now for row 6, you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to single crochet in the back loop only for the next 54 stitches. Yes, you heard me, 54. Okay, so back loop only, you're going to single crochet. Okay, so you're going to get your hook through the back loop and single crochet and go through. Okay, so once you've finished row 6, you should have a total of 55 stitches, and then you're going to leave 5 of them open because that's going to be the opening of your coaster holder. So now for row 7, you're actually going to turn your work, and you're going to chain 1, and you're just going to do single crochet into each of the 55 stitches, leaving the 5 open here. Do not crochet right here. Leave those 5 open, because as we work up our coaster holder, you're going to leave your 5 open here in order to easily access your coasters. So go ahead for row 7, turn your work, chain 1, and then single crochet into the next 55 chains, and then I'll see you next. Okay, so I finished row 7, and for rows 8 through 13, it's going to be the exact same thing. When you get done with your row, leave your 5 stitches open, turn your work, chain 1, and then single crochet into each stitch. Should be 55 stitches, back and forth, right? Rows 8 through 13. Come back to me for row 14, and I will show you what to do next. Hopefully I can get this finished before Cashew eats all of my yarn. Okay, so we finished rows 8 through 13, and now we're going to go ahead and work on row 14, which is our last row. Notice here we have the 5 stitches left open, which is our opening for our coasters, right? So we're going to put them in, and they're going to be able to easily be accessed. So the last row is row 14, and all you're going to do is slip stitch into every stitch of the 14th row. That includes even the stitches down here in the opening. It makes a nice finishing edge, and also gives a little bit of sturdy, like ridging around the edge, so that way it's not like folding in a lot. So go ahead and go around the entire perimeter of your coaster holder, doing a slip stitch into every single stitch, tie it off at the end, and then weave in your ends, and then you're ready to place your 6 coasters inside, and I'll meet you back then. Okay, so we finished everything. We slip stitched it all together, and this is our coaster holder and our pack of 6 coasters. It's super cute. It looks great out on your coffee table when you're drinking your coffee. Go ahead and grab one out. It's awesome. So make as many of these as you want. Give them as gifts. Have fun with them. Like I said, the pattern for this is excuse me, on my Etsy shop. So feel free to go there and get that and print out the PDF. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. or send me an email. Have fun, happy stitching, and please like and subscribe.